You're big on Apple. What do you think about what we're hearing about the iPhone coming out, it coming out later, or about it being $1,000? How do you think that'll affect Apple?
I think both of those are going to happen. It's probably going to slip a month. They're still going to announce it most likely in September like they always do. It really doesn't impact much beyond there's some adjustments that analysts need to make to their numbers. It doesn't change the broader story. I do think investors are going to be progressively more concerned about what the tail of the next iPhone is going to be. That's natural that they get excited about a cycle going into it. We saw that in this 50% move higher in the stock over the past year. But as we get into the launch, I think you're going to see some skittishness amongst investors. The big picture is this, is Apple has 1,000 monthly active iOS users. And Google came out with a number this week that they have 2 billion Android users. And so that number is actually closer, those two numbers, than what I would have thought. And so that piece of it is what really drives their services growth, and I think really builds an opportunity for this, despite some of the near-term fluctuations in the stock, to be just a core holding for tech investors.
And 3 years ago, you and I spoke about Apple TV. You told me to wait and not buy a new TV, and so I haven't, and it's causing some problems for me at home, so I'm still waiting.
I can imagine, and I am sadly here to report that you can purchase that another brand TV. Maybe I can put you in touch with someone at Amazon who can help you out. This has been really a rough story for me, just thinking that Apple was going to do a TV, and in fact, it just never happened. And there was some lessons that I learned from that too, and particularly as we think about new product categories that Apple potentially could get into, including wearables around AR, which we do think that they're going to do. But the car piece separately is something that we're not willing to make a bet on. And part of that is some of the lessons we've learned about from Apple TV.
And you do think that Apple glasses could be the future? You think if they do wearables that they could be the winner in wearables?
They'll be one of the winners, and I think that they just acquired a company to help them do that. It's an eye tracking company based out of Germany. The reason why you have eye tracking expertise is to build some form of a wearable. So our best guess is 2019 that we're going to see some wearable. Think of this as Google Glass that you'd actually want to use. But the idea is that Apple's making a huge bet around augmented reality, and they really laid the law down with this AR kit that they recently came out with. But the phone is going to be the device of choice over the next few years. But eventually that's going to migrate to some form of a wearable. And the most natural thing and most convenient thing for people is going to be glasses. And just one final thought, the reason why that's important is how we're going to be interfacing with machines in the future is going to be different than it's today. Today we're using a touchscreen or a keyboard. In the future it's going to be a gesture. It will be an eye movement, or, and this is where it gets really fun, is your thoughts, and brain tech is going to be a big piece of this too.
And where do you think Apple's going? Where is it headed?
I think the story is near term, as we talked about, might be a little bit dicey. Long term, I think it's going to be more of a services play. I think they're going to try to build something out around the car, whether it's working with existing car manufacturers or doing something on their own. And so I think that the company is moving in a great direction.